Folks, thanks for coming on the line with us today. My name's John Dubas with Premier Marketing, and we'll be spending the next hour or so discussing a program that we feel everyone needs to utilize now, and especially during AEP when everyone is so conscious of the strengths and shortfalls of many of the coverages that folks will select as part of their coverage, be it because it's available in their area for one reason or another, but we feel that the programs that are offered by Guarantee Trust Life, GTL, are the programs that they offer are incredibly strong programs with great success brought about by their systems and the program themselves, obviously. But it's also an area that is of great need for folks that don't recognize what exactly they have with their regular Medicare coverage or what they need in order to make certain that they cover at least the medical expenses within a hospital stay or other reasons that are covered by the plan. Today's program is being recorded, and the presentation will be available on our website at premiersmi.com and on our YouTube channel as well. The link to the recording will be sent to everyone who has today's program. You'll note in the software package that we have a section for questions and for chat. We ask that you use the question section should you have any inquiries about the programs that we discuss as we go through today's presentation. But keep in mind, in many circumstances, we answer those questions through the course of the presentation. We'll just make certain we get you the answers you need as needed. You'll note, as a bit of a level set, a little bit of information about Premier Marketing. We are a national marketing organization that's founded in 1968, part of the Integrity Marketing Platform with offices across the country. We're licensed in all 50 states. We act as an insurance wholesaler working with independent insurance agents throughout the country, just such as yourself. And we do so through contracts that are at the highest possible commission levels, with recruiting contracts available to those who qualify. That offering of the services that are available through Premier Marketing include the base Medicare programs, the Medicare Advantage, Medicare Supplement plans, the Part D prescription, standalone PDP programs, but we also offer a full portfolio of life insurance and annuity products, final expense life insurance, pre-need programs, long and short-term care programs, disability income plans, and these ancillary benefits that are so crucial to cover the extra needs that people have, the day-to-day needs in many circumstances that are on Medicare. And many of these programs are available for folks that aren't as well. And they include dental, vision, hearing programs, critical illness cancer plans, hospital indemnity programs, accident programs, and even telehealth offerings. The Medicare Advantage portfolio includes the national carriers that are available across the country and many of the strong regionals that make a difference for you in your market. And that same philosophy carries over into the offerings of prescription drug plans. Many of these are available through the same contracting that you do with these plans for their Medicare Advantage programs. When we look at Medicare supplement plans, we've got a broad and varied offering for you, and it includes different programs that are put in place to help you be successful in this space. The ancillary products, as we've mentioned, in each of the categories that are listed, the national players are there for you through our organization. And we even now offer the telehealth program, MD Live, and a program that helps with other expenses not covered by Medicare plan through a health matching account. We look at Medicare market overall. We look at a large segment of our society that's aging, the baby boomers, the aging of the baby boomers, the silver tsunami, the one every 10 seconds to be. But if we look at Medicare based just on age, we're missing a bit of the demographic. It's being skewed a little bit for us because we have an increasing number of people that are working past the age of 65 for one reason or another. It can't all be blamed on the pandemic, even though that's had a big influence on the rationale of folks that are taking Medicare or aren't. But we also then have a population that is under the age of 65 accessing Medicare benefits because of disability, that 15% of the population that need our help. and in many cases qualify for programs such as what we discussed today. They are needed because of what's going on with the Medicare population. 2/3 of the population have 3+ chronic conditions, many of which will require hospitalizations and the need to address that expense. And that expense then has to come from a number of different places because we have some income and assets challenges in this population as well. Folks that can really benefit from a program that helps pay them directly, but also gives them an opportunity to properly budget for what in many circumstances is the inevitable. The choices that a person has on Medicare, well, obviously they don't have to do a thing at all. They can actually even decline the medical portion of Medicare, that Part B. Thankfully, most don't. Some will continue to self-insure for the medical expenses above original Medicare and select a standalone Part D program to help with the medication coverage, but some will pick up a standardized, modernized Medicare supplement. Others will take the Medicare Advantage program where the services are bundled together. In each of these areas, we want to make certain we work with an organization that can help us in each of these scenarios to cover the shortfall that the prospects and the clients that we speak to every day many times have in their Medicare life. When folks first come on to Medicare, they're doing a pretty even split as to their choices of their base coverages, about half and half nearly, with Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplement plans. And we still have a portion that shows original Medicare only, but these can be the dual beneficiaries, the people that have Medicare, Medicaid, veterans coverage, programs from when they were still working, retirement coverages, and the folks that have just original Medicare. So once again, we want to make certain that we know not only have the plans that are necessary to cover them, but we can translate what they're going through. Each portion of our life, it seems like, has its own language anymore. And one of the things that you'll see as part of the follow-up is a link to this acronym guide provided to us by the Medicare governmental site. Why is this all a big deal? Well, we find that the majority of people, Kaiser Family Foundation does, at least in a study that they gave, that the majority of people do not compare their coverages annually. And so our outreach on a continuous basis using programs such as today give us an opportunity to speak to folks that perhaps are particularly vulnerable, really need our help in explaining the coverages they have and they don't, and make certain that they understand the differences because they're not using the resources that are available to them. Our Medicare.gov plan finder has had a number of challenges over the last 2-3 years, but for half the people, so what? They're not using it anyway. They're not necessarily even reading the periodical, that Bible that we have each year, the Medicare and You book, that's sent to every Medicare beneficiary every October, be it a physical copy through the mail or an e-handbook. They don't use the app that comes into play. They're not even using or observing some of the really good material Medicare puts out on the internet as well. So we need to make certain that we have the ability to get information to folks and give them the detail they need to choose plans that can help them. So these programs also need the ability to, in terms of the old TV show Friends, pivot. We deliver the information electronically. Can we follow up in person and then rotate back with systems to make certain that person's enrolled properly? Or other way around, we need to make certain that people have the information, so we send it electronically or deliver it to them in person. Either way, can we have the software that helps us work with folks that have been trained over the last year and a half to deal with information coming to them through different sources, through means that they didn't have in the past. So this can be of great help to folks when we realize doctors have been helping people this way, primary care specialists, hospitals are using electronic systems to take care of those details before and after a hospital stay. Hey, we're seeing it with dentists, even faith-based organizations are still in many circumstances delivering on their services electronically, and we can use partners that can help us do so in our chosen area of endeavor as well. So as we speak to the hospital indemnity program to use, we look to our partners that are offering the industry leading programs in this area. So today we've invited Greg Esposito. He's the Assistant Vice President of Sales for GTL to come on and give us a little bit of detail as how these programs can work for us, the advantage that they have for our prospects and clients. So at this time, I'm going to turn control over to Greg, ask him to come on and visit with us about the opportunities we have in this area. Greg?
Hey, thanks, John. Really appreciate it. Just want to double check before you may mute yourself there. Can you see my Advantage Plus Elite slide on your screen?
Absolutely. Beautiful blue.
Perfect. Well, I started recently working with 2 monitors, and you just always want to make sure I got the right one showing, so appreciate it. And hey, thanks everybody for tuning in today. Really excited to tell you about a brand new product we have at GTL. I know you guys are all familiar with our hospital indemnity plan, Advantage Plus, but effective 9/1, we actually launched a brand new hospital indemnity plan. You'll be familiar with it other than just great new benefits that we've added and some other things that looking forward to telling you about. So without delaying any further, we do have a lot of fun stuff to cover, and let's just get started with it. Guaranteed Trust has been around for quite a long time, since 1936, and currently AM Best rating, A- excellent, 0 debt on our balance sheets. A couple good things to know about us. 2020 was the 10th consecutive record year in a row for GTL, so things are better than ever, more solid financially than ever, and really looking forward to working with you. And if you have been working with us in the past, we really do appreciate that. We appreciate your business and all the support that you do give us. If you are not familiar with us, what we do is very simple. We create ancillary products. So when a client uses their main insurance coverage, they have out-of-pocket expenses. We generally have a great product to help them cover those. Specifically today, we're handling our hospital indemnity plan. As you've seen on the screen so far, we've had this plan since 2005, and we have upgraded it multiple times over the years to always make sure it's the best one out there. What we've done recently is filed a brand new plan, and it's called Advantage Plus Elite. And really the difference between an upgrade and filing a brand new plan is really not a big deal for you as agents, but for us, it allows us to possibly get more states and more riders approved in some states that we've had issues with in the past. And I can say so far that's actually been working really well. So excited to give you all that information. With regard to some cool things we do other than create fun products that are great for clients to have and use, we like to make sure it's easy for you as the agent to get the cross-sale started, and most importantly, efficiently but quickly. So we create some fun tools for you to use. We have a great 2-minute consumer video or an infographic or a client presentation that you can use for virtual sales. These really help. To give you a quick idea, you can show the client the 2-minute video, probably answer a couple questions, which I'll go over today, and then you could do the e-app in about 3-4 minutes. So you're talking about cross-selling a great plan for them in probably about 10 minutes or even a little bit less in some instances. So just to let you know, we create these tools so it makes it easier for you guys to get your work done more efficiently and be able to do more business with your clients. When they are ready to apply, you've got complete control over how you'd like to get that application to GTL. We do have an e-app you can download onto your tablet or smartphone. That's GTL e-app. And when you're with your clients, that's perfect. You can quote, do the e-app, and they sign your device screen with their finger, and you are done, and they are done. If you're not working face-to-face, we've got a PC platform that also works great. Great news there is it does not require a signature from the client. So you can work virtually and not have to be with the client and still be able to get an e-application to GTL. Only with that PC platform, when you're not face-to-face with the client, would they have to do a 2-minute verification call, but that's really a breeze, takes less than 2 minutes in most instances, and it just works great. And that replaces their signature on the application. We're always working hard to make sure we innovate new ways to create better products, but also to make your life easier with those consumer cross-selling tools. Something we just launched about 60 days ago was a new way to get e-applications to GTL. We kind of call it our quote-to-consumer application. So basically, you as the agent, you're still talking to the client. You're developing the hospital indemnity plan that they need. You're just getting that coverage all set for them. So you create a quote. And then instead of clicking the Apply Now button, there's a button to the right of it that says Quote to Consumer. So when you click that button, it sends an email to the client with the link in it. And when the client clicks the link, it takes them right to a website that quickly reviews the coverage that you set up for them, and then they complete the application themselves. Believe me when I tell you, it's set up easily so they can do it without any hassle or difficulty. So once they do that, you get pinged that they did complete the application, and then you just go in and click a button to submit it to GTL. So we're saving you the actual time of completing the application. So just another great way to get business to GTL. So cross-selling hospital indemnity, John already made a great case for why you would want to cross-sell it, but I'm going to put a little more proof in the pudding today by showing you some actual policyholders' claim benefits we paid to date. So if you are on the fence with regard to, should I take a few minutes to cross-sell this type of plan, well, we're going to do our best to make sure you are in 100% agreement with myself and John so that you're like, yeah, we need to do this. So really what it's all about is helping them financially. And of course, when you do that with the client, they remember you. You're going to create a great long-term client. And they also want their friends to know about the success they've had through their agent. So they're going to give you referrals. So really great reasons to sell hospital indemnity. This is kind of a fun slide. I kind of call this slide what we want to avoid and what we actually want to accomplish. So, when you sell a Medicare Advantage plan alone, sometimes that can leave your clients in a bad financial position. And also that can help damage your relationship if, things aren't going exactly the way they thought they were going to go. So let me give you an example of that. We're at a Medicare Advantage appointment. We're talking to the client about the Med Advantage choices in their area. And if they live in an area where there's no premium to pay for their Medicare Advantage plan, that's always great news. And as you start going over the Med Advantage plan with them, item by item, they're not that scary on an individual basis. If you were working with Mrs. Smith and you said, Mrs. Smith, if you need to go to the emergency room, that's going to be a $100 copay. Well, in most cases, that's something that would be manageable. So that's good. So where we run into some trouble is if the client down the road unfortunately doesn't feel well, takes an ambulance to the hospital, goes to the ER, they're there for 2-3 days, that's when we have generally an issue with the Medicare Advantage plan because the client now is looking at $1,000 or more out-of-pocket copay. And that's usually when they'll pick up the phone and say, hey, what's going on with this plan? I've got a $1,000 bill. I don't know where I'm going to get this from. Or, even worse, sometimes the children will call and say, hey, I thought we had mom and dad covered. All of a sudden they've got this $1,000 or $1,500 bill. So this is what we're trying to avoid. And it's really easy to do that today because you can set them up with a hospital indemnity plan. When you set up their Med Advantage coverage, it's super affordable. And when they have that future hospital stay that we were talking about, they will actually end up with $0 net out of pocket. And that's what we're trying to accomplish here. And it's really easy to do and easier than ever. So Advantage Plus, that's the name of GTL's hospital indemnity plan. Long story short, we were the first ones that created this type of flexible hospital indemnity plan in year 2005. And since then, we've been the leader in the market. And we have the best history. We have never touched the rates. We have never lowered policyholder benefits. So we have the longest history of success in this marketplace. We've also built it right to the beginning so it was easy for clients to use, easy for them to understand. The one key point that I definitely will drive home today is what keeps agents selling our plan, what keeps policyholders keeping our plan, and that is that we pay claims much faster and with much less hassle than any of our competitors. And that's not just coming from me, because obviously I work at GTL and I want to make sure you think GTL is the best plan. That comes from me traveling the country, talking to agents who sell our plan, maybe left and sold another company's plan. They're back with GTL. This is what I hear. GTL, you guys pay your claims. It's not a hassle at all. That's what I hear. So when it comes to GTL, we've got a great product. We've got great cross-selling tools. And I have this little note there with a big bold STP, just to remind me to tell you that all of our EAP platforms, they issue the business in a couple minutes or less. So when you submit an application, it will be issued in a few minutes. You'll get an email. Your client will get an email saying, thanks for applying, and great news, your coverage is approved. So we get things done quickly here and efficiently at GTL. So for those of you who are still on the fence about selling hospital indemnity, and for those of you who are not on the fence and have been selling the plan, I want to say thank you. You've made a big difference in your clients' lives, and I'm going to show you what a big difference some of you have made. So recently, in June of this year, I asked our actuaries, go show me some of the GTL policies for hospital indemnity and show me the amount of money that GTL has paid to these individual policyholders so far. So they came back to me with this list, and I just took a few of them. Take a look at some of these policyholders here. The first one here has had their policy in force since 2009 and has received just shy of $90,000 from GTL so far, just because their agent took a few minutes and showed them that they could get a hospital indemnity plan for a few dollars a month, and now they don't have to take this amount out of their savings. So when you look at these policies, there's a couple things to see. One, you see a lot of dollars going out the door. Two, when you start looking at these policies, you say, wow, people really keep these policies. And that's a benefit for them and for you, because GTL does pay renewal commissions on these policies for as long as they're in force. So we take a look at these big numbers and we think to ourselves, how many of our clients actually have this chunk of money sitting in their bank accounts that they could use? Well, the average savings in America, less than $9,000. The other thing to keep in mind is we do have some clients that fortunately have a chunk of money in savings. And we do have to wonder, though, how many could actually take that out and not change their lifestyle. And really, if they knew there was a hospital indemnity plan around that they could get for, let's say, $25 or $30 a month, would they really want to risk taking big chunks of money like this out of their savings? Again, nobody processes claims like GTL. We have 17 years of experience doing it, longer than anybody else. We process hundreds of thousands of claims more than anybody else. And you know, when you do something over and over again, you get good at it. And we got some great processes set up too to make sure it's a very hassle-free process for the clients. So selling the plan, how does it help you? Well, the great news is it's a very high closing rate situation. Most agents have at least a 70% closing rate with their Medicare Advantage clients. The other thing that's nice about it is, let's just say you're brand new this year to the Medicare environment. It's your first annual enrollment period. I know that it's a lot, and you may be a little overwhelmed and worried about how it's going to be out there because you hear how crazy it's going to be, and it will be. But you don't have to cross-sell Advantage Plus during this short annual enrollment period. You have all year to sell it. Now, that said, most agents do get in the hang of it and sell it in just a few minutes and cross-sell it during the Medicare appointment. But if you're new, if you're nervous, don't worry about it. You got the rest of the year to circle back to your clients. And I'll give you a couple ideas of how to do that as we go. So great product, great commissions, renewals for the life of the policy. We pay you weekly at GTL. So even though you're going to be writing a lot of Med Advantage business, not going to get paid for that for a while, we actually will be paying you every week for the business that you submit and gets issued. Even though most of it will not go into enforce until 1/1 of 2022, we are still paying you weekly. Okay, so just in time for AEP, we have a brand new hospital indemnity plan. Now, if the plan is not approved yet in your state, you still have Advantage Plus available to sell. And remember, it's still the best out there. However, when Advantage Plus Elite gets approved in your state, it will overtake the old Advantage Plus plan. And when you start quoting it on your e-app, you'll start seeing the benefits for Advantage Plus Elite show on your screen. So let me tell you what Advantage Plus Elite is all about. So with the normal Advantage Plus product, you used to have to be in the hospital for 24 hours before the coverage would kick in. And then a few years back, we changed it to only 12 hours. With Advantage Plus Elite, now the coverage kicks in after 6 hours of being in the hospital. So that even includes observation-coded stays of 6 hours or more. So what do we do here? Well, with Advantage Plus Elite, your clients will be able to use this product sooner and more often. Second thing we did is we wanted to make it easier for you as the agent to match up the coverage that they need with their Medicare Advantage plan. So we added some more base plans. We also call them benefit periods. We added more. We used to have a 1, 3, 6, 10. Now we have 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 15. So if their Medicare Advantage plan, let's say, has an inpatient hospital copay of, let's say, 5 days, well, now you can pick a 5-day plan from GTL to match up with it. We also expanded the amount of money that you can get per day in the hospital. We lowered it to $100, and we still kept the high end at $750 per day. Well, we also, with Advantage Plus Elite, lowered the prices. So that's always good. Advantage Plus was always affordable, but now it's the most affordable hospital indemnity plan in the market. So for up to 14% lower rates, depending upon the age you are quoting, but lower rates, always good. So if you've been selling the plan for a while, you know you used to have to tell the client, well, Mrs. Smith, your premium is going to be $23 and let's say 26 cents per month. But just the first draft, we're also going to draft a second time for a $20 application fee. Well, great news. With Advantage Plus Elite, there is no longer a $20 application fee. It's gone. So now when you run a quote for the client, that will be the amount we draft them each month. So that's great news. Now, again, back to making the coverage easier for clients to use. If you had an Advantage Plus policy, you do always have an emergency room benefit included with your base plan. The old ER benefit said if you go to the ER due to an injury and you're treated there and admitted, then you'll get your $150 ER benefit. Well, what we've done with Advantage Plus Elite is we've removed the requirement to be admitted into the hospital. So clients can now go to the ER or an urgent care facility due to an injury, and they're going to get their $150. So that's it. Really simple. And again, more ability for them to get claim benefits from GTL. Getting the plan was not really hard, but the first application question used to say, in the last 12 months, have you been in the hospital as an inpatient? And then years back, we changed it to only a 6-month look back. Well, with Advantage Plus Elite, now it's only a 90-day look back for inpatient hospitalizations. Net result, more of your clients are going to be able to answer that question no and get the coverage. Skilled nursing rider, we'll go over that rider later, but if you're familiar with it, we didn't change anything other than expanding the amount of money you could get per day. It used to be a flat $120 benefit. Now you can choose the amount that you would like per day in benefits. We did make something new, and it's called the Occupational Therapy Benefit Rider. So really excited to tell you about that. I really do like that new rider, and it's available on Advantage Plus Elite. Outpatient surgical rider. A nice rider, but if you've listened to me in the past do these trainings, I probably hedged you towards not selling it unless it really was a perfect fit for your client, because I always felt like it was really expensive. Now we've lowered the rate substantially. We've left the coverage the same, but now I feel like it's definitely a viable rider to look at for your clients. So we mentioned earlier that we're going to process this business in a couple minutes. You probably, if you're meeting with your clients face-to-face, will not make it to your car by the time they've received an email, and you have too, that their coverage is issued. So Advantage Plus, it's always been the best. Now it's even better with Advantage Plus Elite coverage, and you still get the same quick, friendly claim processing service that's faster than everybody else. So I'm going to throw 3 maps at you. We'll keep it fun. The first thing is, it's just a map of all 44 states that we do have hospital indemnity coverage available. So all the green states and the blue state of Florida, we've got hospital indemnity coverage available for sale. The 6 states in the lower left-hand box, those we do not issue coverage. So here's what you need to know about hospital indemnity coverage from GTL. Once you have a policy, you can use it in all 50 states. Even if you move, even if you change your MA plan, as long as you pay your premiums, you can continue to use your hospital indemnity policy in all 50 states. Okay, so second map, which has to do with Advantage Plus Elite. The green states are the states that we have launched Advantage Plus Elite in as of 9/1. So already up and running. So since 9/1, you can see we've already received approvals in 5 additional states. And you can see the launch date that you'll be able to start selling Advantage Plus Elite. And it's real simple. If you're using our eApp platform, when you open it up, it's going to ask you to update your app, unless you already have your Apple or your Android phone set to automatically update apps. So really simple. If you don't see your state in green yet, a lot of them are coming. We should have all 44 in a short amount of time, and we'll be sending emails out to the field letting them know when the new states are coming on. But if you don't have your state yet, you're going to love the next slide. So here's something that you just don't see insurance companies doing very often, but here at GTL, we decided to do something really special for our existing policy holders. So when a state approves Advantage Plus Elite, we immediately follow up and send the state an amendment rider asking them permission to be able to give our existing Advantage Plus policyholders the new Advantage Plus Elite base plan benefits. So far, I think we're 24 for 25 so far, meaning the states are saying, yeah, that's a great idea. Go ahead and do it. So what that means is our existing Advantage Plus policyholders will get a letter in the mail from GTL saying, great news. Now when you go to the hospital, your coverage will kick in after 6 hours. And if you go to the ER or an urgent care facility, you're going to get your $150 if you go there due to an injury. So we're not going to change their pricing. We don't have to do anything with that. We are just giving them this new Advantage Plus Elite coverage for the same price they're paying for their Advantage Plus coverage right now. So as an agent, you don't have to worry about spending time doing anything with your existing Advantage Plus policyholders. We're taking care of that for you, and we're going to make sure that they have the best Advantage Plus Elite coverage as long as their states approve that we do that. And so far, perfectly. They're all responding very quickly, saying, go ahead and do it. So this is a very selfish thing that we did here on behalf of the sales managers at GTL, but kind of fun for you. Since our consumer cross-selling video has been so successful the past 5-6 years, a lot of times we get emails, like 10 or 15 a week. Greg, can you send me the link to that consumer video? I lost it, or I don't know where it is. So what we did is we actually put the QR code to the new consumer video right on the Advantage Plus Elite client brochure cover. So all you have to do is just have a brochure, point your phone or tablet in camera mode at the QR code. It will start playing the video for you. So Real easy for you to locate that video, and that'll save some of us sales managers here at GTL a few emails a week. So when we cross-sell hospital indemnity, make sure, if you're doing that at a Medicare appointment, that you actually have the scope of appointment form initialed next to the hospital indemnity products box. Now, some scopes don't have hospital indemnity products on it. You'll be looking for something like supplemental health products on that scope, and that will be the same thing. Now, good news, if you're not going to cross-sell this during a Medicare appointment, you do not need a scope of appointment form. So just keep it simple. Going to sell both, get a scope. Just going to sell GTL, no scope. Setting up the plan, easier than ever. You take a look at their Medicare Advantage coverage, specifically at their inpatient hospitalization copays. And you see first, how many days do they have that requirement? Is it 5 days, 6 days? Well, then you just look at the GTL plans available in your state, and you pick the one that best matches that copay. And you're not just getting that amount of days. These base plans, benefit periods as we call them, they restore an unlimited amount of times after 60 days of no use, and that lends a little bit of an idea to how clients have been able to use this plan over and over and over again over the years and get tens of thousands of dollars in claim benefits from GTL. More on that later. So we picked out their base plan. Now the second thing we do is we pick out a money amount that they need per day when they're in the hospital. So again, look at their MA plan. All right, they've got 5 days of a copay responsibility when they're inpatients. How much per day? $320? Okay, let's get them $320 from GTL. Now you don't have to match it up. You could get them more. That would just be extra money in their pockets. But that's pretty much how most agents will go ahead and set up their base plan. You got a lot of flexibility with the 3 through 10 day base plans and the 15-day benefit period. $100 all the way up to $750 per day available, and you can choose in $10 increments. Now you also, no matter which base plan you choose, you also get that emergency room benefit, which we've covered already, and you also have a mental health benefit. So mental health benefit, very simple. If you're in the hospital due to a mental illness, well, then your benefit is going to be $175 per day for up to 7 days per calendar year. If you're in the hospital for anything else, that's going to be the hospitalization benefit paid up there on the top of the screen, the one that we just figured out how to match up to the Medicare Advantage plan. All right, so when your clients hear about this plan, maybe you played the video for them and they're like, wow, this thing sounds pretty good. Is it affordable? How's it really work? Well, that's when you want to let them know, well, Mrs. Smith, this is a great plan, and it triggers, it starts, you can use it when you're in the hospital for a certain amount of time. Now, if we have some agents on the line who do some underage business, maybe their clients have the ACA plan and they've got a large out-of-pocket deductible each year, well, then maybe that one-day benefit period would be good for them. That's really the market that the one-day benefit period sells. You can get up to $2,500 for just one 24-hour stay in the hospital with that. We won't spend a lot of time on that today because we know what's coming. We know we're going to see our seniors about Medicare and Medicare Advantage, and that's really where the 3 through 10-day benefit periods and the 15-day benefit period choices come in. And of course, these are the ones that seniors purchase and the ones that kick in after 6 hours in the hospital with Advantage Plus Elite. And once they're in the hospital for 6 hours, really just about anything this could be used for. Hip replacement surgery, cancer surgery, heart bypass surgery, surgeries. Also, sudden illnesses, heart attack, stroke, anything that takes them to the hospital for 6 hours or more, even car accidents. I slipped and fell, broke my hip, something like that. This works. So you can see it's really a very comprehensive product for them to use. They just have to be in the hospital for at least 6 hours with Advantage Plus Elite for the benefits to kick in. Now, it doesn't matter which base plan you choose. They all restore the same way. So let's just use an example of a 6-day benefit period. That's a very popular plan. So if you're in the hospital for 3 days and then you come home and everything's good, the next 60 days, you don't return to the hospital. Well, then on that 61st morning when you wake up, you have a brand new 6-day benefit period to work with. So you see, you didn't have to use all of your 6-day benefits. You could use 1 day or all of them. You're still going to get a brand new one to work with after 60 days of no hospitalizations. Now, sometimes it works a little differently. You go in, maybe for 3 days, come home, but before that automatic 60-day restoration happens, you need to go back to the hospital. Well, there you go. You only used 3 of your 6 days the first time in, so you have the other 3 to use still. And then after you've been out for 60 days, you get a brand new benefit period. So whichever one you choose, remember, unlimited restorations. So there's really no limit to the amount of money a client can get using this policy over time. So here's some great closers for you. And let me just point out really quickly, because you know me, I'm very transparent about things. I'll tell you what I like. I'll tell you what's, you need to take a look at. If you've been selling this plan, pay close attention to the third bullet point that's coming up. So first off, issue age range, 40 to 85. Great news there is once you have this plan, you can keep it as long as you like. You pay your premiums, you keep your policy. 64.5 to 65.5 is a guarantee issue range. We have had that since 2005, and it's been great for agents who have some clients aging in with some serious conditions to be able to get this policy and use it. This is a benefit that most other carriers have chosen not to offer. We've always had it. It's really great for clients. Something else that's great is when you buy this plan, the rates do not increase as you get older. So you buy it, that's your rate. We never guarantee that's going to remain your rate, but we've never touched them. And I guess I should change that. I should say we've only lowered them because with Advantage Plus Elite, we just lowered pricing up to 14%. So obviously, things are going great at GTL. This product's performing extremely well, so much so that we were actually able to launch a new product and lower its prices and even add more benefits. So there you go. Okay, so if you have been selling this plan, really important, no more $20 application fee. However, now there is a $20 annual policy fee for this product. Now, the good news is, well, there's actually 2 good news. First one is whenever you quote this plan, it's included in the rates. It's included in the quote. So when you quote it on the e-app, you're just going to tell Mrs. Smith, well, your policy is going to be, let's say, $25.36 a month. That's it. There's no separate draft for the policy fee. It's all built in. Now, the other thing that's good is we're actually paying commissions for the first year of the policy fees. That's another thing you generally don't see insurance companies doing, is paying commissions on policy fees. We are doing that. So we love when clients fill out the claim form, and you should too, because that means we're going to send them their money directly to them. Now, if they give their GTL ID card to the hospital administrator when they check in, they're assigning their GTL benefits, and we will pay the hospital directly. From a selfish perspective, as an agent, in terms of getting referrals, it's really cool when the clients fill out the claim form and they get the check. That's when they say, wow, this sounded like a good plan. It was affordable. I used it. It works. I need to have my agent tell my friends about it. So that's a great way to get referrals, is tell your clients to fill out the claim form. It's really easy. Send it to GTL. Then they'll get the money right in their hands. So this is very important in terms of letting clients know that this product does have a 6-month pre-existing condition limitation. Now, it's actually a good thing, and I'll explain why. But let's just go through what it is first, and it's really simple to understand. So you sold me a policy today, you used our e-app platform, it immediately went into effect today. So what is my pre-existing condition limitations? Well, whatever my doctor is treating me for in the 6 months prior to me getting my coverage, or let's say he said, Greg, you need to go into the hospital to schedule some tests. Or, Greg, you need to go schedule some surgeries. Well, those are my pre-existing conditions. So when I have this policy in effect today, I cannot use it for hospitalizations specifically for those pre-existing conditions for the first 6 months my policy is in force. The great news is after 6 months, I can use it for all my pre-existing conditions. So just think about that. What would happen if we didn't have a pre-existing condition limitation? Well, first off, your clients would be able to say, hey, thanks for telling me about this coverage, but I'll call you right before I need it. Well, that wouldn't be good. You would not get that sale. The second thing would be that the pricing of this plan would not be anywhere near as affordable as it is if we allowed people to sign up for the plan a day or two before they went into the hospital for a surgery or whatever is going to take them into the hospital. So that's what it's there for. Also, very important to know that all policyholders have the guarantee or have the pre-existing condition limitation. So even the guarantee issue folks, the ones that can get this coverage 64.5 to 65.5 years of age with no medical questions asked, they still have the pre-X. So that's important. Now, if you were kind of bummed out about the 6-month pre-X, I know most of you probably were not. You understand why it's there. Keep in mind, you can use this right away. So as long as it's not a pre-existing condition that takes you to the hospital, you're good to go. So I could buy this plan today, I could fall and break my hip tomorrow, and I can use this. And you will be surprised how quickly people do use this plan, because we know heart attacks and strokes happen out of the blue. Slips and falls, people break their hips, car accidents, appendixes rupture. I hear stories all the time of how people use their Advantage Plus coverage in the first month. So keep that in mind. So this is a little tip there for you. Every once in a while when I'm doing trainings in person, I get a great question. And the question is, so I work with a lot of veterans, and I know when they go to the VA facility, they actually don't get, a bill for staying in a VA hospital. So they don't really get charged for that in-room charge. Can they get this plan? And if they do, will GTL pay them their hospitalization benefit? And the answer to that question is yes. So what we do is the client, the veteran, will not have a bill to send in for their inpatient room. However, we can contact the facility, find out when they checked in, when they checked out, what it was for, and if that's a viable claim with regard to the coverage they have, we pay them. So veterans, this works great for them. Just know whenever you use a GTL eApp platform to quote, you will never be able to quote something that's not available in the client state. So especially with Advantage Plus and Advantage Plus Elite coming on board, we have our quoting systems programmed to only show you what's available in your client's resident state. So you don't have to worry about ever quoting something and then having to go back to them and say, sorry, that's not available in your state. So if you ever want a outline of coverage or a specimen policy, we've got them. Electronic files, we can email them right to you. Ambulance rider. This is a great rider and has always been the best ambulance rider in the market. What we did with Advantage Plus Elite is we left the coverage the same, but we lowered pricing. So it's even more affordable than ever. It used to be about $4 a month for, let's say, a 65-year-old getting $200 or $250 each time they use an ambulance. Now it's went from about $4 to about $2.75. So even more affordable. This plan's built for use here. So when you take an ambulance, you get your money. Doesn't matter if you're admitted. Doesn't matter if you get sent home an hour later from the ER. If you took an ambulance, you're getting your money. That's a little bit of a common sense thing, right? But some of our competitors in their fine print, it says we will not pay the ambulance service benefit unless you're admitted. Well, we don't do that. Also, if you need to take another ambulance, maybe a day or two later to another hospital or skilled nursing facility, that's another benefit. Our competition, sorry, you only get one ambulance benefit allowed per hospitalization event. We don't do that. So keep that in mind. This is the easiest ambulance rider to use and explain because there's no fine print. We also do have air ambulance involved here. So if you take an air ambulance, you get your benefit. So You can explain the ambulance rider in about 10 seconds. Mrs. Smith, with the ambulance rider, you can sign up for anywhere from $50 to $400 that you can get each time you use an ambulance. You can use it up to 4 times per year and up to 12 times over the life of your policy. That's it. No fine print. So, great rider to have. Critical accident rider. I like to explain this one as you get a little older, the bones get a little more brittle, things tend to break if you have a slip and fall. That's what this rider's about. Slip and break something, dislocate something, tear something, well, you get a lump sum payout depending upon what you actually damaged. And while I've been chatting away here, you probably already noticed there's an accidental death benefit from $5,000 or $10,000. Also, there's 2 rider choices to choose from, a $5,000 maximum payout rider or a $10,000 maximum payout rider. Speaking of affordability, I'm 57 years old. I have this rider. I have the $10,000 critical accident rider. It's $1.86 a month for me to have that rider. So here's a little sales idea for you. If you were going to sell the ambulance rider, that probably would have cost your client $4. Now it's going to be about $2.75. You might want to be able to add the critical accident rider, and you'll be able to have both riders for what it cost for just the ambulance rider before. Just an idea. The new outpatient therapy rider is great because your clients do have co-pays for things like physical, occupational, and speech therapy on their Medicare Advantage plan. So that's what this rider is for. And when you apply, you can choose a 15 or a 30-day per calendar year benefit. And you get up to $50 per day. We also, as part of the outpatient therapy rider, have chiropractic therapy covered too. So that's an additional $50 per day for up to 5 days per calendar year. Nice rider, really affordable. Clients will use this quite a bit. If you are selling cancer insurance, it's great for clients to have. We all know, we all got a lot of friends, family, or coworkers that unfortunately been diagnosed with cancer. We know it's pretty prevalent. This is a very comprehensive cancer rider. So it starts off with an invasive, life-threatening cancer benefit. If you're looking at internal cancers here, stage 1, 2, 3, and 4, you get a lump sum payout. You can see what the payouts are on your screen. But we're just kind of getting started with the coverage of this rider. Cancer in situ is also coverage included. That's an early stage cancer. So pre-stage 1, 25% benefit. We still are not done. Skin cancer included in this rider. So basal cell, squamous cell skin cancer diagnosis, that's $500 coming to your client and is payable up to 3 times over the life of the policy. So that's why we say this is built for use. Look what we have covered here. Skin cancer, pre-stage 1, and stage 1, 2, 3, 4 internal invasive cancers. If you'd like to know what agents sell, we see a ton of $10,000 cancer riders. That's for a specific reason. They look at their client's maximum out-of-pocket, double it, and that's why they get $10,000 of cancer coverage. Because if your client's diagnosed with cancer, let's say this time of year, October, well, they're going to get surgery. They're probably going to have some radiation and chemo, which those take months. So they're going to hit their 80-20 out-of-pocket copay really fast. So they'll hit that $5,000 out of pocket. Then the calendar year turns and they're still getting radiation or chemo. They're going to have another $5,000 out of pocket. So take a look at what their MOOP is, double it, get them that amount of cancer coverage. About 35% of the people that do add the lump sum cancer rider also add the recurrence benefit rider. Simply this allows them to get their lump sum paid to them more than once. They get it paid due to a covered cancer. They go into remission. Once you're in remission, the clock starts and the rider rebuilds if you have the recurrence benefit rider. So if the same cancer comes back or a different type of covered cancer, they can get paid again a lump sum. A couple other riders here and it will be all set. Skilled nursing facility rider, same coverage as before. Choose when you want it to kick in. Day 1 to go through day 50 or day 21 to go through day 100. The only thing changed with Advantage Plus Elite is now you can choose the benefit amount. anywhere from 100 up to 220 per day. It used to be $120 of a flat amount. With regard to outpatient surgery, this is the rider I spoke about a little earlier. This one is the one we really lowered the rate substantially. So clients who may have some outpatient surgical needs, for example, maybe down the road, cataract surgery, something like that, colonoscopy where they possibly remove some tissue during that. Now that becomes a surgical procedure, so it would qualify for the outpatient surgical rider. Again, this is just for surgical procedures. It's not going to come into play if they're going to an outpatient surgical facility for MRIs or x-rays or anything else that's non-surgical. Lump sum hospital rider, that's just a rider if your client wants more money for their first 24 hours in the hospital, you can get that rider. Not very popular anymore. Used to be back in the day when Med Advantage plans were more expensive to have day one, and then day two, their out-of-pocket costs went down. Not the case anymore, but it's still there. Underwriting, super simple. 5 medical questions. You answer them all no, you get the coverage. You answer any of them yes, you do not. Guarantee issue, we covered that. 64.5 to 65.5 years of age when they apply, they can get it, no questions asked. In case you were wondering, the lump sum cancer rider is never guarantee issue. There are 4 separate cancer questions that will populate if you're choosing the lump sum cancer rider. And the good news there is they only have a 5-year look back for cancers. So clients that you have may be in remission for 5+ years, may be able to attain that coverage. 6-month pre-ex we also tackled. Couple cool things to know about the 24-month contestability period. Once the policy is 24 months old, we don't even need a claim form to process their claim. We just need the bill. How cool is that? So the other thing is just make sure that the clients do answer the questions honestly when they apply, and then there's really never any issues with contestability. In terms of paying for the plan, you guys know this. Everybody pays monthly bank draft except for the few that want it a little bit differently, quarterly, semi-annual, or annual. You never collect premium when you're selling monthly bank draft. If you have somebody who doesn't want to be drafted, well, they could set up for direct bill. It's a little more complicated. We need an application that's submitted via paper, and we also need the premium for the first quarterly, semi-annual, or annual payment. With direct bill mode, we do not have monthly. So if they want monthly, bank draft is the only way to go. Underwriting, really fun for me to tell you. This product keeps getting easier and easier to get. Used to have a 12-month look back for hospital stays. Used to be 6. Now with Advantage Plus Elite, it's 3 months. And keep in mind, that's for inpatient stays. That's why I have that circled in red. If your client was in the ER, or even maybe they were in the hospital for 3 days, coded to observation, they can still answer this question no and go to the next one. So Advantage Plus Elite, we hope you like it. It has less underwriting questions than any other carrier, easier to qualify, lower premiums, better cross-selling tools, faster claims payment service, all these different ways to apply. Now, GTL eApp, that's what you want to download. And then you can quote and do eApps. You'll need to have your GTL agent code in order to use it, but once you have it, you can use it. Claim processing, really a snap. Your client fills out the claim form. They put down their GTL policy number, their contact info, when they went in the hospital, what it was for, sign their name. They also sign a HIPAA form, and we ask them to send in the bill. Now, 60% of the people do this perfectly. The 40% that don't, generally it's one of 3 things. They either send the wrong hospital bill, no hospital bill, or they forget to sign the HIPAA form. Well, once we do have the HIPAA form signed, we can reach out to the facility or reach out to the doctor to get the information we need. That's how we keep you. That's how we keep them from running around trying to get things, thinking this is a hassle. We don't want that. So keep that in mind. That's the claim process. And here's some good things to let them know about processing the claims. If their claim takes more than, say, 8 to 10 days and they call you and say, hey, where's this money? Just reassure them that, GTL is processing the claim. We have no desire, no need to delay paying a claim or to try to not pay a claim that we should. It makes no sense. GTL is very, very financially sound, and paying claims really makes this product stay on the books, keeps everybody happy, and that's what we're looking to do. With regard to them asking about a claim, of course they may call you, and you, of course, can call us, but you should know that if they call us, we can tell them more about their claim than we can tell you because of HIPAA regulations. So I would advise them, hey, call GTL. However, if you already have a call from a client and they're like, hey, can you check on my claim? You know what? Send me an email with their name. I'll be able to forward that to claims, and they will call your client that day to give them an update on their claim. And the cool thing is when they talk to GTL claim processors, they're going to hang up the phone saying, wow, these guys really are on top of it. So that's always a positive thing. We're happy to talk to them. We take an average of 8 business days to process the claim once we have the information we need. And if we ever do need to order medical records, a couple things. We have the best process in the business to get them. We actually follow up with the doctor every 3 days to hound them. We need those records. Now, we also take care of ordering them. We also pay for them. So, of course, we don't want to order medical records because we have to pay for them. So only in certain instances would we, if we see some type of a red flag, would we need to get medical records. Say, for example, you sold me a policy and it went into a force, and then a week later I turned in a claim for a hip replacement surgery. Well, that's probably something that was a pre-existing condition that my doctor already told me I had to schedule or already had scheduled. So that's what we do. Sometimes we do need to take a look at the medical records to make sure this is a viable claim. But we try to make sure that we don't have to. And all of the experience we've had over the years really helps us get to the point where we really don't order medical records unless absolutely necessary. And that's a big difference from our competitors. So last thing I want to do is share with you a couple cross-selling methods. You know, what we've learned so far about clients, it doesn't matter what type of insurance you're selling them, they're not going to call you until it's too late. So with regard to hospital indemnity, they're going to call you after they get out of the hospital. So we need to bring it up to them before then. And I want to show you how most agents actually do bring up the cross-sale during a Med Advantage appointment. So if you're sitting there, let's say with Mrs. Smith or doing a virtual sale, you're going to get to the point where you're going to say, with this Med Advantage plan, you're going to be responsible for a copay when you're in the hospital. This one specifically is $250 per day for days 1 through 6. After you say that to the client, you can immediately segue right to, now that's a copay that concerns me. As your agent, I want to bring that to your attention, but don't worry. After we get you set up for this Med Advantage plan, it's going to work great for you. I'm going to show you how a separate plan, hospital indemnity plan, probably about $1 a day, you won't have to worry about that copay. You'll just get the money from the hospital indemnity plan, no money out of pocket. So that's a way that most agents just say, you know what, here's a copay. Don't worry, I'll show you in a few minutes how we can take care of that. Some agents do it a little bit differently. They will go through all the copays, and then they'll say something like, you know, Mrs. Smith, here's a couple things that are a concern to me. Let's just say, for example, down the road you didn't feel well, you took an ambulance, and you were in the ER, and then you had to stay in the hospital for a couple days for something. Now, when you come home, you will have about $1,000 or $1,500 Med Advantage copay. Can I ask you if having that bill is going to put a big crimp in your budget or your savings? And if she says yes, well, we know where we're going from here. Well, I'm glad I brought it up because we have a way to make sure we can keep those copays net out of pocket zero for you, and probably for only about $1 a day. So I'm going to show you how to do that after we get you set up for this Med Advantage plan. All different great ways for you to bring up hospital indemnity. And a lot of agents right from there, they'll play the consumer video for the client. That shows them a great example of how the product works. And usually they're like, you know what, they have a couple questions and they say, sign me up. Now, here's a couple ideas of what you can do to prospect with the video. You can put it on social media. You can put it on your personal website. And let's just say you're not going to cross-sell hospital indemnity during annual enrollment. That's okay. After January, send them an email. Mrs. Smith, just want to make sure you got your Medicare Advantage policy and your ID card in the mail, making sure it's working good for you. Also, remember we did mention that you got some copays when you use it. Click this link, watch this 2-minute video. This is a great plan. It's been around since 2005. I can sign you up over the phone, and it's super affordable. I think you should have it. Give me a call. Great way to prospect with the GTL cross-selling tools. And if you're not going to use the video, we have an infographic and paper version. You can do the same type of prospecting with it. You can also use it during the cross-sale appointment to show an example of how it works. Last thing I'll do today is just to show you another objection you may run into in the field and how to handle it. Some folks, unfortunately, do have to pay a premium for their Med Advantage plan, and they may be like, well, I got to pay a plan for this. Now you want me to pay a plan for another plan? I don't know. I'm on a budget. Well, all you can do is quickly show them how inexpensive the plan is compared to, let's just say, 1 day in the hospital and using an ambulance to get there. So Mrs. Smith's copay, $250 for an ambulance, 1 day in the hospital, $300 out of pocket, $550 out of her bank account for that one short stay. How much do you think it would cost for Mrs. Smith to have a hospital indemnity policy for a year? Well, $320.55 if she's 65 years old. That's for the entire year, and that gets her a 6-day benefit period with $300 each day she's in that hospital and $250 when she uses that ambulance. So real simple. When you show an example like this, the client sees right away, wow, one use and this thing already makes sense. And then you can remind Mrs. Smith she can use this multiple times over the year, and there's no limit to the amount of lifetime benefits she can get. And you can also tell her that you're listening to this guy at GTL last week on the phone, and he showed that some clients have already gotten close to $90,000 in claim benefits. So this plan really does work. All right, and if you would like to use it, if you're still selling virtually or it's just something that you'll be doing, 50-50, however you're selling this year, we have a virtual slideshow for this plan that you can use with consumers. So that's available to you also. Well, we've covered a lot today. The last new tidbit of information I can give you is we always have sales support at that number on the screen. We always have their email address at agency@GTLIC, but we do have a new text-to-chat feature. So you can use the same number for GTL sales support, but you can text us and we'll be able to help you out. I also put my email address on there, gspo@gtlic.com, and that is for you to use, not sparingly. It's for you to be used whenever you need me. So during business hours, after business hours, weekends, do not hesitate to email me if you have some questions. Always here to help you. So I really do appreciate your time today. And John, you might be able to tell me if there's some questions I can answer, or maybe you even tackle them yourself while I was chatting away here.
We've got a couple that weren't directly addressed during your presentation,
okay.
Greg. And one of them is a question as to how do you compare yourself to, how does GTL compare itself to AFLAC?
To be quite honest with you, we have a few competitors in the market space, but AFLAC is not one that we consider, a competitor. Our hospital indemnity plan is so strong benefit-wise that, generally it's not, I generally don't get I'm thinking about you or AFLAC. Our plan is so specialized with regard to helping clients with Med Advantage coverage and all the bells and whistles we have. It's just a standout. I don't really, consider AFLAC as being even close to our coverage, if you will.
Awesome. Thank you. The other question that wasn't addressed was about the policy fee, the $20 policy fee. Is that commissionable?
Oh, yeah. So what we did with that is, we never had a policy fee. And we had a $20 app fee, which was one time, and we always thought that was great because it was just a one-time event. And but for years we've just been hearing from agents that it's just a little difficult to tell the client, you got this fee, this is going to be their monthly premium, and then we're also going to hit you up the first time for this extra $20. And so that's gone. However, now we do have annual policy fee, but when you do a quote, it's in there. So it's not a separate draft anymore. It's just in the quote whenever you run it. And we are paying commissions for the first year of that policy fee. So that was kind of cool that we're doing that as far as paying commissions on that.
Great. And then there's a piece that does the commission, is it reduced on the guarantee issue programs?
No. No, the guarantee issue folks, we pay the same commissions whether they're coming in, answering the 5 application questions or whether they're coming in guarantee issue. And that guarantee issue is really a big deal. We offered it right from the get-go. All of the companies that have copied our plan over the last few years have not offered it at all. It's a big deal. And, kick-out conditions for this plan would be, if you're not guarantee issue and you have to answer the questions, insulin-dependent diabetes, COPD, emphysema, those are the big ones. So if you have a client with those conditions aging in, get them this plan because they will use this plan over and over and over again throughout their lifetime. It's just great opportunity for them to have the coverage.
Awesome. Great. Thank you, Greg. I wanted to remind the audience that today's presentation is being recorded and you will have access it through our website at premiersmi.com and on our YouTube channel as well. You will be receiving an email with a link to that too. So I think we've got the questions covered. I want to pull back the presentation for just a moment, Greg, and finish up with a few quick slides. Thank you for your presentation, by the way, too.
You're most welcome.
Stellar. Thank you. Some of the things that you'll see by working with us here at Premier, you do have electronic contracting access. Of course, we would send out specific DTL. You do have access, however, to Assurance Bay that allows you to create an agent profile, store your errors and admissions coverage, answer the questions, do some electronic contracting through this system should that need arise. We do offer discounted D&O for our qualified agents. What is a qualified agent and what is E&O? Well, errors and admissions coverage. Qualified agent means you have a contract with us. This is a program you own. This isn't being added to one blanket policy for one insurance program. This is something that covers you across the board and is your program through 360 coverage. We do also offer multi-course discounted bundles of continuing education to keep your license in play through our relationship with WebCE. And you have an opportunity to add to your own benefit package through a modified guarantee issue disability income program on which you are receiving a discount on those rates and commissions as well. A great way to add to your own insurance benefits. Much as where today's presentation is being recorded, past presentations have been as well. They are available, as I mentioned before, on our website, premiersmi.com, and on our YouTube channel. These include different ways of marketing, also oversight on different segments of our industry, different pieces that are available for you 24/7. One of the things we really wanted to stress in conjunction to today's presentation and the programs available from GTL is the use of our Medicare Center, where agents that are contracted with us have free access to this system, 3 quoting tools within a singular sign-on. It has other resources that are available to you, but it helps you with the comparison of the Medicare Advantage programs, prescription drug plans, and allows you to collect that scope of electronic scope of appointment in electronic fashion in a number of different ways and store it for that 10-year period that's necessary to remain compliant. One of the components within this program is the CSG system, and this does have a program that allows you to fill in the gaps. So much as where Greg illustrated through his presentation the programs that they have to help you sell these plans, this is an opportunity where you may have not even considered discussing other programs, even though you click the categories in your scope of appointment. You can go into a home. They want reassurance that their current program is still a good choice for them. Network constraints may prohibit you from moving them elsewhere. You can then pull up that coverage and do a fill in the gap piece that allows you to select the GTL program for hospital indemnity that individual. It's really a cool program that allows you to go in and make certain that one of the holes in the Medicare Advantage programs, one of the big things that are a concern to people with that hospital copayment, is taken care of. We do also have a place on our website that makes certain that you have all the carrier incentives and trips that are available that can help you qualify for premier incentive programs as well. GTL is very progressive in their offerings in this area, and that's some information that will come to you as part of the follow-up to today's presentation as well. We do help you get in front of folks to discuss these programs. A contact list, well, you can't cold call for MA or for PDP programs. You can cold call for programs such as GTL's HIP program. This gives you then an opportunity to discuss that guarantee issue period for folks that are turning 65. You're creating your own channel of prospects in that coveted market that gives you the ability to reach out and grow your business now during AEP. And as Greg mentioned, if you're not talking about these programs during annual election period, it gives you the opportunity to go back and visit with folks thereafter. We do also have different marketing programs set up that help you maximize your value in retail marketing. So that Walmart program with its higher price tag can still be a very good return on your investment. Programs such as this also give you an opportunity to speak to other centers of influence in the community, such as faith-based organizations. So you can do webinars and seminars talking about covering the gaps in their coverage. We also have programs that can help you with marketing to and through providers. Many carriers during the open enrollment period in the MA space, we have other prospects for you. We want to make certain that we hook you up with those individuals. We do also have internet and direct mail support and a referrals program that reminds you on how to visit with people about giving you additional information on programs or on people that you can help. That direct mail co-op, well, it's a two-pronged proposal. You have one for the health insurance products and another for final expense. It deeply discounts the cost of those programs so you can deliver upon the measurables that you need out of direct mail to do it consistently and really get a really good return on your investment in this space. We do so through preferred lead vendors. We want to make certain the detail coming out for you is approved and helps you remain compliant. And we also have a couple of programs that will help you with direct mail responses. Now, you don't direct the entire campaign, you're purchasing returns, but these are untouched returns that give you an opportunity to fill in different holes in your schedule. That internet lead program is based on Facebook, one for final expense and one for Medicare, and we remind you to engage your book of business. If you've used Medicare Center in the past, it's a great way for you to go in and leverage that information that's in there to take care of your prospects and your clients. All this said and done, we do this because we want your business. We feel GTL is a very strong component of an overall marketing program, and we feel that it is valuable to you to add it to your personal marketing program and to do it now. This gives you an opportunity to go back and visit with people about their current coverage, set them up for a review during the annual election period, and move forward and grow through this program. Checking the questions one more time. It asks, a question is asked about how we can use this with an ACA program. Keep in mind that these are fee-for-service programs, so they pay in addition to any other type of coverage that comes into play. So no coordination of benefits. They're going to take care of you and your book of business in this manner. All that said and done, you can reach us at 1-800-365-8208 with any questions that you have. If you've been working with a marketer in this space with Premier, we're going to make certain that we help facilitate that communication. And you can find out additional information about us and our programs at premiersmi.com. So until we are able to visit with you in the very near future, we thank you for the time for today. We thank you for the business and the opportunity to speak with you. And until that next conversation, we wish you good selling. Thanks so very much. We'll talk to you soon.